Welcome to the channel. We are the Just Us family.
Hi, yes, welcome to the channel. My name is Jackie.
My name is T. We are redefining the idea of the American dream, one country at a time.
So, we created this channel because we noticed that there was a huge gap in the travel vlog channels. And particularly, once the family has actually left and actually experienced it, that's when they would usually say, oh, we left America and we're going to follow our dream. We're quitting our job, all this other stuff. But they have already been on the road for a while. So when searching, we said these pre-planning videos, they just don't exist. Like everything that it takes to get to that level and actually travel the world as a family. So we decided to create this channel to show the real, the raw behind the scenes of what it actually takes to travel the world as a family. And we just so happen to be a family of 5 that does not come from money, does not have any inheritance waiting for us, and we're just doing it. and we're just and we're just doing it with the money that we made from our investments and our jobs. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, make sure you stay tuned.
So to start, why we are planning to leave. First thing I'm going to talk about is our children's education. Something that really struck us was when our oldest son came home and he had this paper. And we looked at it and we're like, what is that? And we read it, and it says a contract that a child must sign. And part of that contract is they have to behave a certain way. If they did not, they would lose the privilege of getting the sunlight. Sunlight is right there, it's free. But so they can't go outside and get recess. They will also lose like snack time and a bunch of other things that the school considered as privileges if they didn't behave, and we didn't necessarily agree with that. And then we had our youngest son, and with him with school,
Y'all, it was a nightmare to say the least. Our youngest son, first of all, every child does not learn the same, and they do not fit into that box that's in that structure that traditional school has. And our son was a prime example of that. So what would happen all the time, we would get these calls every single day for our youngest son. It was always around the same time, and we would have to come and pick him up every single day, constantly. And T and I, we both have jobs. We can't just get up and just go and pick up our son. And interestingly enough, I worked for the school district at the time. And even though I worked for the school district, I still couldn't just get up and just go get my son. I didn't understand. And when it came to that, I said something has to give. There was one particular instance that was the icing on the cake. The teacher had done something to our son to make him a bit agitated. And you know how kids are, they don't really know how to react to certain type of situations. Well, he reacted in a way that made the school call us. And right now we have to come up there and get our son. And when we spoke to our son, the situation didn't really appear that serious. They wanted him to pretty much engage in an activity that he did not want to engage in. And instead of them accepting that, they just continued to keep badgering him until he reacted in a way that was inappropriate for school. I went up there, I called up T, couldn't get in touch with them, and instantly we said they had to come out because we can't keep doing this.
we did have a good program when we finally got them all together. it was perfect. Everything was really great with that program, but unfortunately, something happened where I guess they had to just shut it down because they didn't give any type of notice. It was more of just a text message that came and just, hey, this is
Mhm.
it, the last day. I can try to find, kids somewhere else to go, but the whole business is shutting down. So,
Yeah, and this is during a time of when COVID first happened. Everything was shut down anyway, but we had to still work. We were stuck between a rock and a hard place, and we really had to make some very hard decisions. And it ended up being that I quit my job because I could no longer do it anymore. We had to make sure that our kids had a quality education. They couldn't go to school anymore. It was a no-go, an absolute no-go. Homeschooled in itself, you don't have to be at home. The world is your classroom. And the same things that we teach the kids about, we want to make sure that they experience it and get to see it in real life. We didn't get that opportunity growing up. I know I didn't.
and the thing about homeschooling and so many perks, they still communicate with other kids. I mean, anytime you take them to the park, we always take them to the park. There's so many kids, and they just
Mhm.
have so much fun. So they still experience that interaction with other kids to get to play. But then on top of that, they constantly get to travel.
So the education factor is one of the primary reasons why we have to go. It's time to get out of here.
Yep.
So next, we're going to talk about the cost of living overall. It's just too expensive to live here.
Very.
We came here in Florida. We're in Florida. And at the time when we came here in 2018, we could legit rent a house because we had one for a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath for $1,000. Now you take that same house and it has tripled the amount. It has tripled. And we own multiple properties. There are so many fees that are added into the overall cost of ownership. We have homeowners insurance, which in Florida, I can tell you right now, it's a complete nightmare. People are being dropped from their policies. 2 of our homes recently were just dropped out of nowhere. So it's no rhyme or reason. They just, I guess the insurance companies, they reevaluate, and we were the ones on a chopping block, so they cut us.
And when they cut you homeowners insurance, guys, they'll force place insurance on your home.
Yes.
And the force place insurance is like 4 times the amount of your normal homeowners insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they dropped this, it would just boom, all of a sudden the letter in the mail, that we opened and found it. But it's more interesting is that when I was at the VA clinic, I was in there, and there was this lady. She was just going off. I can't believe they dropped me for my insurance, my homeowner. She was just going ham, and then she named the company, and I was like, wait a second, that's the same company I got. Hold on. I remember calling Jack about it. I'm like, they ain't drop us. But
Oh
then
my
later
goodness.
on, boom, there it is. Same company dropped us too.
And in addition to home, since we're on the cost of living and affordability factor with the United States, utilities are high everywhere. Electric bills sky high. I don't even understand. We have our water bill that we have to maintain, and in some of our properties we have to continue to pay the water bill even though we have a tenant in there because of the different contracts that we have in place. However, our primary residence, that water bill is at least $400 a month. $400 automatically. And no, we are not running the water. We are very cautious about what is happening, but that's how high these bills are. Electric bill over $200. Then we got the internet keeps creeping up. All of that adds up. And in addition to that, you have grocery costs. I remember a couple years ago, we could actually go to a grocery store with $100 and get substantial, good quality food. You go with that same $100, you walking out with about 6 items.
One bag.
One bag. Shoot, and don't end up going to Trader Joe's or somewhere, a specialty food store like Sprouts or something. Absolutely not. You're not walking out with anything. And lastly, the car insurance, if we're still talking about affordability, it's just not there. In order for us to have quality insurance, we have to pay well over $500 a month for car insurance.
It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, and that's with all the discounts, all the different features that you have on the cars, making sure it's garaged and everything to try to get those discounts. That's what a discount, and including our homeowners policy.
You got a bundle.
You exactly. You
bundle,
bundle, and
but
it's still $500.
even with that, it was funny. We got a letter in the mail like, this is actually from my lender, and they were like, hey, we can beat the rate that you were paying now. Be way less, like 50% way less. So I'm like, all right, what am I saying? Let me give them a call real quick. And with the call, they said, okay, good driving record. Okay, perfect. All right, excellent. Everything checks out. Okay, how does this sound? A down payment of $5,500, and you only have to pay about $250 monthly. I said, a down payment for car insurance? Well, I'm buying a house.
Exactly.
Down payment, you talking about $5,500, and car insurance is like $200 something a month. That ain't even $5,500 a year. I mean, that's supposed to get me through for about 2.5 years putting down that down payment.
Exactly. The next topic that we're going to go into is the toxic environment, negative energy, division. Okay. In particular, let's just start off with family. I remember there was a point in time when we could actually count on family. You can't even count on family anymore. Family is like your enemy. You might as well just call it your family, okay? Because there is a great divide within families now. They don't support you. It's like they think they're in competition with you, and they constantly want to put you down, shed a negative light, spread rumors and things like that. Now, I do understand this may not be for everyone. Everyone's family is not like that. But for T and I, that's what we have experienced our whole life with our families. So that type of division, it's like, so what are we here for? It's not like we're here for our family. We have our own family, but not necessarily for our family.
Some family don't help each other out, but they always want you to give them something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, can I borrow? It ain't like they ask for a small amount. Like, hey man, can I borrow $1,500?
$1,500.
My rent. My thought pattern is, you go to the bank, you're gonna pay back interest. But when it comes to family, it's, oh man, they think that they can pay back whenever, and when you ask people for money back, they act like you never loaned it to them.
Exactly.
And then that creates problems, at itself, right there. I mean, it's crazy. It's funny, people, because like I said, the high amount that people even have the nerves to even ask, someone for. It's like, would you loan me that money if I was in the situation? But it's always that way now. It's always, if you can't do nothing for me, I don't deal with you. We ain't family.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't cool. This person talking bad about this person. Like, why are you mad that a person's doing good?
Exactly.
Instead, you should be like, that person's doing good. I'm going to talk to him. Maybe they can, bring me up to that speed, give me some pointers, help me get there. But it's always just the negativity attached when someone is doing good. It's like people want you to do bad, and then they're happy for you. Oh yeah, he's struggling. He poor. He ain't got this. He ain't got a place. That's what people want. It's sad that some families are like that.
Yeah. And speaking of that negative energy, people wanting you to fail, let's just step into another area about the toxic climate within the U.S. in general, from the political aspect of it. Okay. There's a great divide. While there are multiple parties just on the political landscape, it's only two that are really brought up to the forefront, the Republicans and the Democrats. And we have the media everywhere you look, especially now since we have the elections coming up. Everywhere you look, it's just so much toxicity. It's just so much, oh, if you don't vote this way, then you're this type of person. If you don't vote that way, then you have to be against that type of person. We don't have our own individuality as they promote in the US. You can't just say one thing or another without offending someone. And it causes division still within family, within your friendships, within your coworkers, and within just everything. It's just a overall negative atmosphere.
So let's talk about employment. The job security nowadays just isn't there. People, they're jumping ship all over the place. You're supposed to be somewhere to retire, so you can, give this company this time, retire, relax, enjoy the fruits of your labor. But it's like companies are laying off so much that it creates division between the employers, because now it's become very, very, very cutthroat. And that's something that I had to learn when I got out the military. I had to see how cutthroat it is. And I'm like, oh my God, this is throwing me off. I wasn't used to it. It's throwing me off, still throws me off. But it's like, especially when, people have certain titles or positions and they think that they're just in charge of you and just tell you what to do. You do this, you do that. It's very cutthroat, like I said, and there's no security, and people are fighting for security. They're throwing each other over or under the bus, just because they're worried about losing their job. So they would do anything to keep their job, basically. And then you talk about the pay progression. Like, I remember I was offered a 5-cent raise, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with 5 cents? I got 5 cents in my pocket. That little raise for 5 cents ain't gonna do nothing for me.
They could have kept that.
Then you have in the pay itself, they're saying, okay, we go by education, all right, but okay, so like we have masters, for example, and I remember I was offered a job that's $30,000, and I'm like, I got more than that, when I was in high school working, didn't even have a high school diploma yet, and I made more than $30,000, at a job doing senior year. So, it's just a mess. And then the quality itself, they promote people always, oh yeah, work-life balance is here. People don't get work-life balance. I think it's just a phrase they're throwing out, and they're not understanding what work-life balance is. And even back in the consulting world,
it's just not there. It's not there, you guys, and it's highly unfortunate because a consultant career, it could be is a very lucrative career, and it's a very good career. However, you find yourself having to, they make you, I want to say, almost feel bad or regret taking time off when you actually need it. You guys, we're talking about, for myself, I have to work like 14, 16-hour days. Yeah, they pay high, but if we actually do the math on the amount of hours, I don't get paid any hour after 40 hours. I'm a salaried worker. So it's just not, it's not there. It's not there. Even just recently, when we were on a vacation, my job expected me to come in and do a whole presentation that would have took me 6 hours. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. It can't, we can't continue to do this. Like, you're going to lose, companies will lose valuable employees by working them to the brinks.
So where are we now in the process? So we are in the planning phase. I got some really good news.
Yeah, we do have some good news.